Hello again, ladies and gents, how the devil? Welcome once again for your favourite weekly news roundup. It is, of course, the BBC Spews, YouTube's finest and only weekly toil through the endless swamp of festering fake news on the world's largest publicly funded communist news website. Let's not beat around the bush anymore. I've been doing this long enough. To know they're not centrist, they're not reasonable, they are far left activists paid for by the taxpayer, and that's why there's so many people on Twitter shrieking their fury to the stars, saying defund these upper crust, Oxbridge educated fucking arseholes who pretend to represent the general public. Let's get into it, shall we? Making my point for me, let's just read the opening paragraph to this story. Million MAGA March. Pro-Trump protesters hold rallies as tensions grow. Headline doesn't sound too bad. They are indeed pro-Trump protesters, and tensions are growing. But look at the first paragraph. There's the orange god giving us the thumbs up from his armoured fucking Hummer. Thousands of supporters of President Donald Trump are rallying in Washington, D.C. to back his unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud in the US election. So, first paragraph. Again, you don't need me to say anything, do you? You just need to think with your own... What have you seen with your own eyes and your own ears that thinks it's reasonable and logical to say unsubstantiated claims? Like, what we haven't all seen about 10,000 different examples of possible voter fraud. I'm not saying there was definitely voter fraud, because I'm sure there's some sort of narrow niche definition that they can use to say, well, technically, you know, they love doing that. The elites, they love slippery language, and that's why they all sound the same. That's why you can ping one of these people within 30 seconds of meeting them. 30 seconds, you bump into one of these people in the pub, shake hands with them, and then they say something like, you know, it's great, they have gender inclusive restrooms. Which, first of all, why is it called a restroom? You know, I went for a piss when I was in Oregon. Portland's ridiculously liberal place. I checked into the hotel and there was a massive sign there that said no pot smoking in hotel rooms, and the second I walked in it smelled like fucking Bob Marley had died in the bathtub. I don't think they were listening. There is more ganja getting talked when you walk the streets of Portland than you would see in a Rastafarian convention in central London. It's unbelievable. So yeah, they're not listening. And Portland is a ridiculously liberal place. And the first or second pub I went into, they're all using these gender-inclusive, gender-neutral bathrooms. And it annoys me because I have to stand in line. And I was like, listen, I'm happy to jostle cocks with strangers standing around a giant rusty bathtub. I don't need to be queuing. I don't need to take a friend with me when I go for a piss like a lot of women do. I don't need to gossip about handbags and cock when I'm in there putting makeup on. Men don't need to fuck around in there. So I'm sorry if that sounds a bit chauvinistic, but I don't feel like we should be punished because women take far too long to gan for a piss. So why don't we just say it's fair and reasonable that the women who take ages and apply makeup and gossip and have to sit down for a piss should have to queue, and the men who are happy to knock cocks shouldn't have to queue. That's reasonable, isn't it? I have just remembered another funny story, however. I remember being at a beer festival in Huntsville, Alabama, and it was shortly after I'd been to Portland, Oregon. I was stood in line for a piss there because there was only 2 buildings, men and women, and there was a lot of people. And I turned to this guy behind me and said, why do we have to queue? Is this more of this gender-neutral bathroom shit? And he said, oh yeah, there's just one stall and one urinal, and people lock the door after them. So, there's still a line. And I was like, it's fucking stupid. I said, I don't care. I said, I'll tell you what, if you don't care and I don't care, we can at least go in together and then it will help the queue along for the lads. What do you think? And he went, yeah, man, let's do it. I don't give a fuck. So, next person comes out. He went to the toilet. I went to the urinal. He starts pissing. So, for a laugh, you know how like little kids in primary school take their trousers all the way down to their ankles for some weird reason. I did that. I pulled my pants all the way down so they were literally around my ankles on the floor, and just started pissing like that, you know, with my bare ass out. And he turns around and he was like, yeah. Anyway, went off on a tangent. Let's get back to the fucking news, shall we? Unsubstantiated claims. Well, not if you've got eyes and ears. Definitely not unsubstantiated. Definitely not. If you're going to try and use as neutral language as possible, you would at least say something like, to back his credible claims of voter fraud after numerous instances were reported across the country, including the documented case in Pennsylvania where 6,000 votes that were for Biden actually were for Trump and there was a software error. There's one that we know definitely happened. So where the fuck do you get unsubstantiated claims from when there has literally been at least one case where thousands of votes for Trump were put down as votes for Biden? Where do you get unsubstantiated from? It's not just substantiated, it literally fucking happened. Once again, using the term literally correctly. It happened. It's a documented fact and they admitted it and said, fuck. That 6,000 votes should have been for Trump. So where do you get the word unsubstantiated from? Did you miracle it out of your arse? Sounds like it. Far-right and anti-government groups, including the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers and QAnon, had indicated they would attend. So they're all far-right and anti-government groups. Everyone there is far-right anti-government. Yeah, everyone. There's not just loads of normal people who go, fucking hell, we've been watching the news and this looks like you're all taking the piss. Reasonable to suggest that everyone there's a fucking wingnut, isn't it? Totally reasonable. Seriously, it would be the equivalent of doing that with the Brexit vote. It would be like saying thousands of supporters of Brexit rallied in London today. The BNP and other far-right groups indicated they would attend. Yeah, but there's like 30 of them. What? So why is that in the second fucking paragraph in your story? That's not the majority. It's not even a significant minority. It's a few. And the rest of them are normal people going, you're taking the piss and we can all see. It just says, 7-word sentence. Joe Biden won the election. No, I didn't. Not yet. Again, another demonstrable fact. Not yet. There's legal challenges going on all over the fucking shop. So hold your horses, you commie bastard. It says, what's the plan for the rally? His supporters kicked off at noon. They're using different names for the event. The Million MAGA March, March for Trump, Stop the Steal. It is expected to bring more mainstream Trump supporters with neo-Nat again. How many of these people are there? Seriously, I've lived over here for fucking 7 years. Never once have I ever seen a neo-Nazi. Not once. There might be some you can find, but there aren't large amounts. I've seen Louis Theroux interviewed some. There are some out there, but they're not even a significant minority. They're not even 0.5% of the country. So why the fuck is that all the BBC talks about? Every paragraph, Nazis, right wing, far right, Proud Boys, Nazis. It's like there aren't enough Nazis. You know it and I know it. So why'd you talk about them all the time? Well, we know why, because it's fucking fake news, that's why. So that's total horse shit. Links in the description. If you want to lose 10 IQ points and actually read the fucking thing, you knock yourself out. Me, I can't bring myself to go through it. Let's move on. Continuing with the BBC's bizarre fascination with sexual deviancy. Another one, it is in the travel section. Can't just say where Hamburg got its name from. Why Berlin should be your next travel destination. It's got to be deviant shit, hasn't it? Why Germans like shitting on their girlfriend's tits while being masturbated by their mother-in-law. Why don't you just talk about travel? Normal shit. Why Germans love getting naked in public. Tell us, BBC, tell us how good it is. Free body culture, fucking yay. Promotes harmony with nature, of course it fucking does. Of course it does. You knew you'd have to cram some hippie shit in there, didn't you? Some Germans sunbathe nude, stripped out to play sports or even hike in the buff. Right, I'm seriously right. If I go for a game of tennis and the man across the net has got his fucking pork sword swinging in the wind, I don't want to play. I don't want to play. It's well known that men prefer watching female tennis because you get to like perv on the birds at Wimbledon. I definitely don't want to see male tennis if they're also going to have the fucking balls out. Let's nip this in the bud straight away, shall we? Kristen Anna said, after 4 years of living in Berlin, I've learned to embrace Germany's anything goes spirit. Yeah, you could say that again. Hence the invention of Scheiße pornography. And more casual approach to nudity than where I grew up in the Midwest. Fuck me, it's great. Yeah, here in Germany, stripping down isn't uncommon. I've grown used to nude by default saunas. Swam in my birthday suit and surprised a massage therapist when I disrobed unprompted before a treatment. Well, you fucking go, girlfriend. You whip your fucking norks out for all and sundry, yeah? I bet he was like, what the fuck? Did you check that that's even what they do at his place, yeah? He's probably there going, right, I'll just read you this pamphlet. Whoa, you've just got your fucking bacon drapes out for all the lads to see. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh yeah, you're so awesome for an American. You show all the boys your fucking bits. Yeah, look, he's a German man reading a book with his bell end. I know they call it your Jap's eye, but you can't see through it. Just so you know. Also, what do Japanese people call the hole in the end of the penis? Nobody knows. I've been to Japan, I asked loads of people. I think it got lost in translation. Anyway, you never forget your first time. Anyway, again, I'm not reading all this pervy shit. Drivel. You know what it is? It's basically promoting being a sexual deviant, pill-popping scumbag in every situation they can. Yeah, if they're not talking about how good it is to have threesomes, fist your grandma behind your wife's back, fucking snort happy pills off a bent policeman's cock, anything that can come up with to normalise pure sexual deviancy. And again, they're making me sound like a Baptist preacher because I've never been one of these stuffy, oh, that's a bit weird. Yeah, I'm cool with prostitution, gay marriage, pornography, whatever you want. But I don't see why we have to turn everything into deviancy. Everything. Travel show, deviancy. History programme, deviancy. Everything. History. Let's learn about the Roman dildo. I don't give a fuck. Be normal, BBC. Be normal. Doug Emhoff, the second dude in the White House. The moment that Kamala Harris celebrated the news she would be the next vice president, captured on camera for posterity, was history-making 3 times over. Come January, she will be the first female, first black, and first Indian-American vice president. The problem I've got with this is, right, again, the communists just like to blur the lines between everything so nobody knows what's real anymore. It's part of their fucking raison d'etre. But how many things more could you cram in there? Like, are you black or not? If you're black, can you be Indian? Can you be American? Can you be as many things as you want? Like, how many? Could I do it? If I went in there, my genealogy is as complex as every other fucking British or Irish person's. There's all sorts in there. There's Norwegian, Irish, Scottish, English, Welsh, fucking... Could you just reel them all off? Oh, I'm making history. Technically, I'm the first. You're either something or you're everything. You know the old adage, if everyone's in charge, no one's in charge. If you're everything, you're not something, are you? And just reeling all these things off, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, she's not black. She doesn't look black. She's mixed. So just put first mixed race. I mean, if you must, I would just put first female president. That seems quite a vice president. That seems quite a good achievement for me. Ticking all these boxes like the communists love to do, it just dilutes us all down in a pointless and infantile way. Same with Obama. Obama wasn't black. Obama was 50% white. And considering he was raised by his white family, because his dad was apparently something of a walking stereotype, I would argue that makes him more white. So a good way to piss off any lefties who are going on about how good Obama was. You can go, well, yeah, but he was more white than black, wasn't he? So we'll take that, yeah? We can have the win there. If you're exactly 50% white, but you get raised entirely by your white family, I think it's fair. I think we can have him on our team. Unless you're right-wing and you don't like him, at which point fuck him off over there. But the point is, it's nebula. It's up in the air. It's not just, she's black, she's Indian-American, she's also European, she's also this, she's also that, she's also got hairy legs, she also sucked her granddad's cock. There's loads of things she's the first. I bet you she's the first vice president to ever suck an elderly black man's penis while he was still married and she was in her 20s. That is definitely a first. Put that in the fucking list. Anyway, the person behind the camera will be making history too. Oh, here we go. What's he? He's a Mexican, English, Chinese, Catholic, silver medal in the egg and spoon race, partial grasp of French, male, vice presidentess, husband. What is he? Just reel it all off for me. Come on. Mr. Emhoff said he was having a leave of absence from his legal career to support his wife. Oh, of course he was. Because he's a beta male. I mean, seriously. If you know the woman who you're marrying spent her 20s filleting grandpas because she's obsessed with power. What type of man are you? First of all, I wouldn't even want to give her a kiss. Because I'd say, I know where that fucking mouth's been, you mucky bastard. Secondly, I'd think, if she's power mad, does she really care about me, or is she doing this because she thinks it's going to serve her in some way? You knew she wouldn't have married a fucking truck driver, didn't you? Oh God, an LA entertainment lawyer, so he's just scum straight away, ain't he? Straight off the bat we know, LA entertainment lawyer, that's like one below registered sex offender on the fuck me, he's an awful twat list. Isn't it? There's nothing worse. The pill-popping sexual deviant scum capital of planet Earth is LA, and he's a lawyer there. Like, lawyers gotta be worse. I mean, that's even worse than an actor, isn't it? Lawyers? Even the lawyers in England are evil. What about the LA lawyers? Fucking hell. You're plumbing the depths of Hades there, aren't you? There he is, snuggling up to the mucky bag of carrots. Like Hillary Clinton, she was anti-LGBT for fucking ages, and then when she realised it was political suicide, suddenly she makes fucking Boy George look conservative. Come off it. Fuck me. So yeah, that's a Chad story. Chad life-affirming, identity politics-ridden fucking drivel that nobody with any sense cares about. Concentrating on the UK for a little bit, we've got 2 weeks crucial for ending lockdown. Fuck it, what a load of bollocks. We know they don't work. They've already done one. It didn't work. If the first one didn't work, how's the second one going to work? How? The next 2 weeks will be absolutely crucial. If England's lockdown is to end as planned, it won't fucking work. If it didn't work when everybody was interested and thought the virus was fucking lethal, why would it work when people aren't interested because they know it fucking isn't for 99.9% of the population? Why? This is why I've been a fan of the Sweden model from the get-go, and I've made the point a dozen times, because it can't work when you live in a massive community like we do now. We live in crowded towns and cities, right? And they're full of arseholes. It's simple. It's a pandemic. It spreads very easily. That's a problem with COVID-19. It's not that it's particularly more lethal than the flu, because it isn't. We know it isn't. We've seen the numbers. 50,000 dead, January 2018, from the in-seasonal influenza. We know it's not that dangerous. It's just much easier to transmit than the flu. So people are a bit blasé with it, and they transmit it really easily. So what's the point in a lockdown when it's easy to transmit? It's not going to work. When all you need is one. If you get 10 people and 9 of them do a really good job and really screw the nut, but the 10th one is a wanker and he goes around fucking licking doorknobs and generally grabbing things because he's a twat, it spreads regardless because it transmits easily. So you only need one wanker from 10 and that's going to fucking spread about. He'll give it to the other 9. And I would posit that at least way more than 10% of the country don't give a fuck about anyone but themselves and won't be contributing to your shitty lockdown and will break all of the rules. So fuck the lockdown. I'm not saying that you should be a prick. What I'm telling you is, if you have your head in the real world and not up in the fucking clouds, you know human nature, you know the reality of the world we live in, and you know that lots of people are fucking wankers who only care about themselves, so the lockdown cannot and will not work, and it never will. Which is why the Swedes are sensible and fucked it off in the first place, because they're not dopey twats like the people that run the UK. And I'm not having to go Boris Johnson here, because Keir Starmer and the Greens and the SNP and everybody else done the exact same thing. So I'm not singling anybody out here. They are all absolute cunts. And that is just British politics. Some are just slightly more cunty than others. Also, look how reactionary these headlines are. Again, all they've done is try to poo-poo Brexit for 4 fucking years. Give it a rest. You've lost. You lose again and again and again. You lost the referendum. You lost the European elections. You lost the general election. You will keep losing until it happens. And if we have to fuck the Tories off because they're not going to do it, I'm confident that whoever rises to fill that void will win the next general election. We've had enough. We've had enough. I admire your fucking intestinal fortitude, but have the common sense to know when you've lost and give it up, because this is just getting beyond a joke. It's childish. Port in chaos as Christmas and Brexit loom like it's a jolly green giant-sized paedophile with a fucking taser, and he's coming for your kids on Christmas Eve Jesus wept. When did we turn into a nation of fucking pansies? When? Felix Stoppard in chaos as Christmas and Brexit loom. Only the BBC can make Christmas a bad thing as well. Christmas and Brexit. Fucking Scrooge McDuck is running the fucking BBC. Yeah, Christmas. Fuck Christmas. What a bunch of horrible bastards they are. Retailers, shipping and haulage companies have complained of chaos at Felixstowe Port in Suffolk, affecting goods in the run-up to Christmas. No, the D-Day landings was chaos. This is just a minor logistical fuck-up. The owner blames pre-Brexit stockpiling and the pandemic. Well, okay, stockpiling's a good idea because it makes logistical sense to do it. And the pandemic's the pandemic, not the end of the world, is it? And it's not entirely down to Brexit. It's probably 90% down to the fucking pandemic. Look out your window. Do you think everything's fucked because of Brexit? Think all the pubs are empty because of Brexit, or is it mainly the pandemic? Yeah? That's like coming downstairs to see a World War II era Nazi with a flamethrower torching your conservatory and you going, I think this is a complex mixture of that man there with the World War II era flamethrower and the gentleman that invented the flamethrower 100 years earlier. No, it's that big fucker there with the squirty gasoline powered thing. It's him. Him we should be worrying about. Concern yourself with the philosophical debate when you get rid of the big cunt with the flamethrower. Freight manager Matt Hudson warned if the chaos continues, increased shipping prices will be passed on to consumers. It's the pandemic. Fix the fucking pandemic. Stop the lockdown and things will go back to normal. So I'm not reading all of that either. It's just being whinging and blaming everything on Brexit as fucking usual. Defying common sense in every measurable way. And I'll do one more. Fuck it, I've gone on long enough. Yeah, they had an anti-lockdown march and they started arresting tons of people because obviously most of them happen to be white and the police are more than happy to rough you up and stick you in the back of the van, that being the case. What we need to do is we need to organise a freedom over fear rally where everyone on it happens to be black or Asian, because then the police will shit themselves, and if they treat it anything like the grooming gangs, not only will they shit themselves, they will actively assist the protesters. So that's what we need to do. We need to play them at their own game, right? Find someone who happens to be BME, get him to get a few of his mates together, form a protest, and then watch as that protest cascades and turns into a movement, right? Because you had grooming gangs there. I listened to a Sargon's podcast last week, Sammy Woodhouse. She was saying that there was like one of these grooming gang fuckers was literally just parking outside the children's homes and just shoving them in his car as they come out. She's a vulnerable young girl. Stick her in the van. And apparently he did this for years, and everyone in there knew he was a wrong-un, and all the police knew he was a wrong-un. And when any of the girls went missing, the police would phone him up and say, all right, mate, can you bring back the girl you've been raping? And he'd go, yeah, all right then, bruv. And drive her over and meet the police in a car park somewhere and drop them off, and they go, thank you for doing your civic duty and returning the paedophile rape victim to us. Nice man. And he'd go, cheers lads, I'm going to get me cock sucked by another one then, and drive back to the home and pick somebody else up. And the police never once arrested him. Just help it. Just every time, just ferrying the women to the church car park, he'll pick them up and he can fuck off and drive and pick another one up. It is that bad. Yeah, Google it. It is that bad. So that's what we need. We need a black and Asian anti-lockdown march. And within a week, all the police will be on board. Everyone will be pro-freedom and anti-lockdown, and it'll spread to the upper echelons of government, and Cressida and Boris and every cop in the country will be like, yeah, fuck the lockdown, because that's the way it works in identity politics Britain. It's fucking mental. That was the BBC Spews. Everything's gone tits up, so why should the national broadcaster not want to follow suit? Thanks for watching. I'll see you twats next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free, you tight bastards. Thanks for watching. See you very soon. Cheers.